Welcome to Geometry Pre-AP with Mr. Schroeder. Today we're going to be working on writing and graphing equations of circles. So still talking about circles, but now we're going to move into the algebraic part of it. And this is also part of your conic sections that you do in Algebra 2. So this is a great topic to get you ready for Algebra 2. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to pause the video and I want you to factor these two quadratics. Okay, so when you're done factoring this one, you should have x plus 5 times x plus 5. But really what I want to see here is I want to see x plus 5 quantity squared. And so over this one should be x minus 3 times x minus 3. But we really want to see x minus 3 quantity squared because they're repeated. They're the exact same thing. And so this is going to be a part of what we're going to be doing today. So we'll get to that eventually. But I wanted to make sure you could factor these quadratics and see that these are special. Okay? All right, so the standard form of a circle, we can do Pythagorean theorem, and the standard form is x plus y equals r squared, as long as the center is the origin, which doesn't work out very often because circles can be all over the place on a graph, but it's our starting point. Now, when the circle moves off the origin, we end up with a new formula. And so our standard equation of a circle now, okay, standard equation of a circle is this one down here, where h comma k is the ordered pair for the center of the circle and r represents the radius. And so therefore the figure can move off the origin. Now look at this, it's x minus h, y minus k. So if you had an ordered pair where it was x minus 3 plus y plus 2 equals 25, the h value would be a 3 and the y value would be a negative 2 because there's no negative sign right here, which means there must have been two negatives to make a positive. So that's where you're going to have problems, that is remembering that little change of signs. And of course the radius would have been 5 because that's r squared, so r is equal to 5. So we're going to practice this. Okay, so it says, write the standard equation of a circle with a center of 0, negative 9 and a radius of 4.2. So, standard equation of a circle, that is this. X minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. Notice that x minus h quantity squared is kind of like that quadratic we factored at the beginning. So we substitute our values in. So, what's going to happen right here with those two negatives? They're going to become positives. What's going to happen to the 0? It's going to disappear. And so we have x squared plus y plus 9 quantity squared equals, and of course 4.2 squared is 17.64. And this is a standard form of a circle. That's it. You don't have to multiply the squares out. Just leave it like that so that anybody can pull the center and the radius out of the figure. Okay, so it says the point 3, 4 is on a circle whose center is 1, 4. It says, what is the standard equation of a circle? So let's look at this. If I know that I have a center here at 1, 4, and I got some point on a circle that's 3, 4, then I need the radius. Well, the radius would be the distance between those 2 points. We've done that before. So 3, 4, 1, 4. How do I go from 3 to 1? That would be 2. How do I go from 4 to 0? That'd be 0. So I have 2 squared plus 0 squared equals my radius squared. So radius is just equal to, radius squared is equal to 4, so r is equal to 2. And so then I have x minus, what's my h value? Go my center, this is my h, this is my k, so x minus 1 quantity squared plus y minus 4 quantity squared equals r squared, so r is 2, so that'd be 4. And there's my answer. So pause this video for a minute, do this one right here, and then you can check your answer. Okay, and so there's your answer. And when you're finding the distance between those 2 points, from negative 1 to 2 is a value of 3, and from 2 to 6 is a value of 4, and we know 3, 4, 5 is a Pythagorean triple, and so that will help us find that radius. All right, so it says point negative 5, 6 is on a circle with center negative 1, 3. Write the standard equation of the circle. So again, just like the last problem, except for they're giving you a picture this time also. So pause the video, find your radius, plug it all into the standard equation of a circle. Okay, so you should be done now. And so if I delete this, there's your standard equation of a circle. We know the radius, this is going to be x minus a negative 1, which gives us x plus 1 quantity squared, y minus 3 quantity squared equals, and the radius here is a 5. Well, I can look here. Oh, look, there's 3, there's a 4. Pythagorean triple is 5, and there we have it. No, they will not all come out to be Pythagorean triples. I just had a few that were. Okay, so here we want to graph this circle. Now, we'll see how good you are at drawing circles. So if I want to graph this first circle here, it says, right, the equation of circle is this. I need to pull out the center. So the center would be 4 comma negative 2. Remember that these two negatives in there make that a positive. So, and that's supposed to be a negative there. So that's just the value 4 and the value of negative 2. And then my radius is going to be equal to the square root of 36, which is just 6. So 4, negative 2 is here. And then I count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll see how well you can draw that circle there. And there's good enough for me. As long as you have those 4 points labeled, I'll be happy about that. All right, and so that's your solution, your circle graphed as best you can. All right, so, and there it is right there. Now I had a tool to make that draw easier, so you don't just draw it by hand. I want to make sure those 4 points are labeled though, and then you do your best you can to draw the circle into those. Okay? All right, so here's 3 practice prompts. So pause the video, do the first one, the second one, and third one, then you can turn the video back on and watch the answers. All right, so the first one. There's your first one. It's actually at the origin, and so the radius is just 7. All right. So now the second one. Second one, it will be at 0, comma negative 2, and the radius is 6. And find the last one. It'll be at negative 5, positive 3, and the radius will be 3. And so that's a practice on 3 different circles being graphed. Here comes the tough part. Now, for this part, all that x plus h quantity square plus y plus k quantity square, y minus k quantity square, all those things are multiplied all out and you get this equation. It's all messed up. And what we got to do is we have to take this messed up equation here and put it back in the HK form, which is we call the parent kind of standard form of an equation. And so first things first, here's our first step, is that we group like terms and all numbers are on the right side. So when I do that, it looks like this. X squared minus 4x plus y squared plus 6y and 12. I got that 12 because I had to move that 8 over to the other side. And so that got me the 12. All right. Second step, step number 2. Take half of the x coefficient. That's this one right here. So negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. And then square it. So negative 2 squared is equal to 4. And so then I add 4 to this side. And of course, if I do it to one side of the equation, I got to do it to the other. And I add 4 to that side. Then I have to take half of the other one. And so half of the y coefficient. So that would be 6 divided by 2, which is 3. And 3 squared is 9. And so then I add also 9. Remember, if you do it to one side of the equation, you have to do it to the other. All right, so once I have this done, I'm going to factor each one by grouping. And so I'm going to take this group right here, and I'm going to factor that part. And I'm going to take this group right here, and I'm going to factor that. And this is back where we go into the first thing we did for the warm-up. If you go back and look at your warm-up, I wanted you to factor that. So if you factor this, like we did on the first one, you should have x minus 2 quantity squared plus y minus 3 quantity squared. Remember that when factoring this, we're looking at the factors of 4. So 1 and 4, 2 and 2. And I want it to give me a negative 4. So that means it's going to be x minus 2 times x minus 2. And since the parentheses are the same, we can rewrite that as x minus 2 quantity squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared equals, and I added all those numbers together, which gave me 25. Now, we want to pull out the center. Center is going to be 2 comma negative 3. And our radius is going to be the square root of 25, which is 5. So these are your steps. So second is that. I guess you could call that third, fourth, and fifth. Pull that information out at the end. Okay. If you cannot factor these right here, let's see here. If you cannot factor this and this into something like that and that, then you have done the problem wrong. You did not take half of the x coefficient and square it correctly. So watch out for that. All right, so here are 4 practice problems. Pause the video, do all 4 of these. I'm going to work none of them right now. So pause the video and work all 4 of these. All right, so let's check our answers here. I'll just pull all these down to the bottom. Here are the answers that you can check with. Now, not only do you have to have this part, but you need to be able to pull out the center and the radius from each one. And so the 0, 3, and radius is equal to 2, negative 3, negative 2, and radius is equal to square root of 26. This one is that it's 4, 1, and that the radius is equal to square root of 22. And this last one here is 1, negative 5, and the radius is equal to 7 square root of 2. Okay. Now, if you had a problem on some of these, I'm going to work a couple of these out on the next couple slides. So continue to watch the video for 2 of these practice ones. So here is the first one of the 2. So combine my like terms. So, or put the terms together. X squared minus 2x, and I got y squared plus 10y. I move this 5 over, I move this 5 over, so that equals 72. So 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and then 1 squared is equal to 1. So I'm going to add 1 here, which means I got to add 1 here. And then, let's see here, can I move this stuff over? Well, that's all right, I'll just leave it there. And so then 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then I take 5 and I square it. So I get plus 25 and plus 25. So I've got here x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus y squared plus 10y plus 25 equals, what's that, 26 there, so 98. And so now I've got to factor this. So that's going to be x minus 1 squared plus y plus 5 quantity squared equals 98. Now, how did I know it was a negative 1? Because if the 2 in the middle is negative, that's going to have to be a negative number there, because 2 negatives make a positive on the end. But if that middle number is negative, that number is going to be negative. Just like on the second set, the middle number is positive, so it's going to be positive. So my center will be 1, negative 5, and my radius will have to be the square root of 98, which simplifies into 7 square root of 2. And there's one of those 4 example problems worked out. Here's the last one. And the other 2 you're going to have to practice on your own. So x squared plus 6x, y squared plus 4y equals, and I got to subtract 3 from here, so this is 13. So I get all my numbers on one side, all my variables combined together. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9, so I'm going to add 9, and I'm going to add 9. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then 2 squared is 4, so plus 4 and plus 4. And so I have x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus y squared plus 4y plus 4 equals 26. So x plus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 2 quantity squared equals 26. My center will be negative 3, negative 2. And my radius will be the square root of 26. Okay. So that is the last one I'll work out as an example. So when you come to class, you'll be working in the packet. You'll be doing the section 10.7 in the packet, which is the graphing the circles, writing equations of the circle, all those different things. And we're done.